Hello, my name is Dan Johnson and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 2024 in Big Finish. I have a collection behind me of all of the Big Finish releases that I've collected this month. These are brand new releases, not sort of things that I've sequenced, because I've been recently listening to a lot of Torchwood stuff, like the Story Continues range, which is about 16 episodes a series, which has taken up a lot of time. But this year I cut down on the new releases that I was buying and focused on doctors and stories I was really interested in. In total, I have 11 CDs because Big Finish are kind of obsessed with selling individual CDs and sort of spreading what would be a box set out over like 3 months. And I have 14 box sets. The most popular Doctor is the Eighth Doctor, who appears 3 times, 4 times if you include the stuff of Legend, but that's not out yet. We have 2 sets of the Ninth Doctor and the Paternoster Gang. We have 6 CDs of Dark Gallifrey, and we have 4 CDs of Sontarans versus Rootans. And in this video, I'm going to be going through and picking out some of my favourites. I'm going to be talking about more releases this time than I did last time. We started off the year with Sontarans versus Rootans, a 4-part epic featuring the War Doctor, the Eighth Doctor, the Sixth Doctor, and the Third Doctor. Not in that order, though. These were fun individual stories with a little bit of connective tissue, but my featured release that came up in February was the 11th Doctor Adventures, here entitled Victory of the Doctor. Last year, I talked quite a lot about how I really liked the 11th Doctor as played by Jacob Dubman, and this is the final set in a huge 4-part saga that ended in February, and it was everything that I wanted it to be. It was epic. It had beautiful speeches, beautiful character moments, heartbreaking moments, a lovely farewell. And I think I remember saying last year, I'm very concerned of where it's going to go and if I'm going to be satisfied. Because as much as I loved the previous 3 box sets, there was always that thing in my mind saying, if this doesn't stick the landing, it's not going to be as fun anymore. And Victory of the Doctor has been absolutely amazing. The 4-part epic was so good to listen to. I listened to it so quickly in a day because I couldn't stop listening to it. If you want to see the 11th Doctor go up against Paradigm Daleks again, as well as pay off so many elements from the previous 3 box sets plus a little bonus thing, then this is a series that I recommend highly. After having a set of Classic Doctor's New Monsters, which is a really fun box set to have, it's a safe bet, I think, because you have something that you recognise. You get to see Doctors that wouldn't normally encounter these monsters encounter them. The second episode, I think it is, with the Sixth Doctor and the Clockwork Droids, is a lot of fun and does a lot with those Clockwork Droids. There's another box set of this coming out in, I think, January, and it has Krillitanes and it has Carbonistas species, the Lupari, and it has the monks from the Series 10 trilogy thing. So there's a lot to look forward to, and they're always a safe bet, and you're still always going to get fun stories. I see it as sort of like bare bones Doctor Who, where you strip everything away and you kind of get a really nice adventure each episode. But that brings me nicely onto the Sixth Doctor once again and the Quinn Dilemma. So this is the Sixth Doctor's 40th anniversary, and with this they did a really interesting story and sort of jumped around the Sixth Doctor's timeline in individual episodes that are, some of them are really short, some of them are about half an hour. There's a lot of connective tissue, and each adventure is a lot of fun. There's a Santaran sort of like 2-parter in there as well, which is great fun. But what really stands out in my mind is some of the stuff that the Doctor has with Perry, and talking about the fact that he tried to strangle her at one point. For me, it's another box set that when it was released, I started listening to it, and I did pace myself a little bit, but it was something that I really looked forward to finding out what the conclusion was, and I was not disappointed by it. Up next, I have the Ninth Doctor Adventures, and this time in a set called Star-Crossed, we also have River Song. The thing with River Song that I have is that I feel like there's like really little consequences, because it's almost implying that there's going to be a mind wipe or something along those lines, so there's not really much consequences. And it's also, River's like a difficult character for me because I don't always find her that interesting. But in this set, I really enjoyed her. And the third episode in particular, I mean, I really liked the first one. It was kind of campy, but I really liked the first one. The third episode in particular has so much character and so much to say that I found it really interesting and a lot of fun. I mean, the whole box set was fun. The Ninth Doctor in general is just fun. But him and Riverson together was a really beautiful pairing. Halfway through the year, I started doing reviews of Big Finish, and I started off with The Last Day. It was an interesting one, and I had a lot to say about it. So if you want to go and check out that review, I recommend that you do. And from now on, I have reviews of most of the sets that I'm talking about. They'll be linked in the playlist, and you can check them out for yourself. And then as summer became autumn, we had Trials of a Time Lord, and this was the second part to the Sixth Doctor's anniversary. And when the first one was more of a drama piece across 6 parts with a lot of little sort of connective tissue story, this is the equivalent of smacking action figures together, and it's great for that. I mean, the Cybermen and the Daleks and the Doctor fighting against each other in this story is really, really good. So I will always go back to listen to this story for that aspect, but I do think there's a lack of substance sometimes with this one. We also had some Third Doctor in autumn with this set called The Quintessence. I am a sucker for Cybermen stories that are told well, and the way that the Cybermen particularly portrayed in this one is really, really good. And it's a horror in many respects. There is some imagery in this that is really dark, and it's just a really good 6-parter that doesn't drag. As a 6-parter, you kind of expect some lulls, but this was a really fun adventure all the way through. And I don't really buy every single Third Doctor release. I kind of dip in and out. And I'm so glad I went and took the plunge with this one. Towards the end of the year, we had a set of War Doctor, which I really enjoyed. It's very different to a lot of the other sets that we've had, though. I am hoping that we get a release this year, because we're only getting one this year, of the War Doctor, of the War Master rather. And with that, I would like to see a big adventure story with the Master being the Master, because this is the Master telling stories less than anything else. So it becomes sort of like almost like a Big Finish original in many respects, just with Derek Jacobi in there. We also had a set from the Eighth Doctor's Time War series, which has been a really good ride so far. I am looking forward to seeing where this one goes, as a really, really good cliffhanger at the end of this set. And I am always invested in this dynamic between the Doctor and his companions, Cass and his great-grandson, Alex. This new branch of Time War has kind of been a big thing that I am watching with Big Finish at the minute. I think that the story that they've got, that they're setting up over these last couple of box sets, is really good, and I'm looking forward to that coming to a conclusion. I kind of hoped that Reflections would be that conclusion, but it seems like we're going on a bit further, and there's more levels to this than I initially thought. Before I tell you what my favourite release of the year has been, I'd like to quickly point out this. This is the Stuff of Legend. This was an 8th Doctor audio that was performed live that I was really lucky to go and see, and I'm going to keep mentioning it. Okay? The story itself is quite fun, but what's really cool about it is that if you're there in person, it's performed to you live with the actual actors. So I saw Paul McCann in his Doctor Who outfit acting out this story. It's also going to be released on CD. I think it's before the new year, so they're running out of days to do it. I think it might be the 31st or the 30th that this comes out. But this has been my favourite experience of the year. And finally, my favourite release of 2024 has of course been the 11th Doctor Chronicles, and it was Victory of the Doctor. I think that this may not be one that is good to just buy this box set, but for this to be the finale to a set that I have adored since it started in 2022, the payoff for it was absolutely excellent, and was definitely the most fun I've had out of a box set this year. So there's no other box set that I think I could give this number 1 spot to other than this set. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like. I'm planning to do more Big Finish reviews throughout 2025. Obviously we have the Fugitive Doctor sets, we have the not the War Master, we have the Sacha Dhawan Master as well, starting off our year. So there's plenty more to look forward to, and I'm sure Big Finish has got plenty of surprises in their sleeve that will be revealed throughout the year. As it's the last video of the year, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I'm hoping this time next year I will hit 1,000 subscribers. Fingers crossed. But of course, we'll see how that goes. So there's nothing else left to say, but thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.